I'm recording a one-size-fits-all legal disclaimer for the beginning of every episode that I upload. The views and the opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any agency, organization, employer, or company that they are affiliated with. Examples of analysis performed within this podcast are only anecdotal examples. They should not be utilized in any real world analytics as they are based on anecdotal information. That is all. And this podcast is Cross Theory, where I, Robert James Cross, go over a theory in this book, Dictionary of Theories, that I own. It's 5,000 theories. You've already heard the first episode. This episode is very special to me because I am here with my buddy Diego Rodriguez. Please introduce yourself, Diego.
Hi, I'm Diego Rodriguez. I'm a gay atheist communist, a gay theist, if you will. No, all of that is true and more, but I am also a musician. I am a person that has feelings, thoughts, and feelings. But yeah.
Nice. Very cool. And as always, like I said, I'm Robert James Cross. I am a school teacher. I hold 2 master's degrees. I'm in my doctoral program right now in education. I'm just trying to get by, and I thought that I would start this podcast. So, we're going to go over this theory that me and Diego are going to talk about or not talk about at all. It all depends. Like I said in the first episode, whether or not we talk about it does not matter. What matters is that we have a discussion about
We're
something.
going to throw it out.
Yeah, we're just going to, I'm going to throw it out there. And
That's the goal.
If it hooks on, then we're good. If it doesn't hook on, like the last episode, we didn't really hook into it too hardcore. This episode, if we don't, it's not a big deal. We got other things to talk about. The world is vast and the things to talk about are limitless. So, our theory for today, abandonment. It's a philosophical theory. It's a concept that is central to atheistic existentialism. According to such existentialists as Sartre, God does not exist and life therefore has no intrinsic purpose or meaning. Man has been abandoned in the universe by God and must create their own morality and code of values without the assistance of any divine being. That is the theory that we are going to talk about, perhaps or not. Depends on what we're gonna do here. But what are your first bubbles coming up in your brain when you hear that theory?
Oh, it reminds me of uh for context, right?
Yeah.
You and I know our buddy Matthew Roca.
Yeah. Who I'm probably gonna have on here, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
But I think it was when I was teaching, we were talking about he's like a very firm like believer in God and like higher power and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm an atheist, so I don't believe. And so we were having these conversations about like evil and the concept of evil, and I'm just like, well, like evil is all dependent on like it's all context, right? It's all based on context of like how like murder is bad, but
but a murderer might think that murder is good, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or if you murdered somebody who is bad, right?
Yeah, is that not good? Yeah.
Like if you murdered Hitler, I don't think anyone's going to be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about the baby Hitler theorem. That's the
exactly. Killing babies may be okay.
Yeah, if it's Hitler. Yeah. Hitler or Elon Musk, one of the two.
Immediately. Immediately, this does not reflect the.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We do not want to kill Elon Musk. No. As a baby. No.
I'm just, no, but in all honesty, but like obviously, like evil or malice, that's how I would call it. Like, I think that is like a better word rather because like good and evil really like are very weighted and very like vague concepts because it's all very subjective. These are very subjective terms.
No, exactly.
Whereas malice and beneficence, are still subjective, but I think they're a little bit more, they can be measured a little bit better, I think that they're a little bit more specific. So going back to that, I was just, explaining to Matthew that, like, well, in reality, like, that's depending on your opinion. And then he goes and takes that fucking conversation and puts it in his
In the
fucking film,
movie, in the movie, yeah.
in
Of
the
course he does.
film.
Of course he
And
does.
and then I go and record I dubbed or audio voice the lines
Oh,
of
did you?
the
Nice. Yeah,
conversation.
there it is. No, I mean, if Matt is nothing, it's not that he loves taking real world conversations and putting them into his movies,
Oh
which
yeah.
I dig, because that's when I went to state to get my master's in creative writing. That was one of our exercises, was that we had to like sit behind two people talking and like take notes, and so it felt really like creepy, like stalking people that were talking, because we had to do that. That was one of our things. But it was funny because like I'm sitting there, I'm listening, I'm eavesdropping, and I'm pretending like I'm not. I have headphones on or whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like listening to music, like no big deal. um but yeah, I loved being able to do that, and I know he loves that because he does that. And whenever me and him are talking about a line or something that's in one of his movies, he always has some story about like, oh yeah, my ex-girlfriend's mom said this, or my dad said that, or whatever. And I'm like, oh well, shit, you get all your stuff from other people. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, oh my gosh, all these things. But, to go back to abandonment,
Yeah,
like
abandonment. Yeah, let's do
I
it.
mean, it's funny because in many ways, I mean, he art is like a really good answer to creating meaning. In fact, like Nietzsche was talking about, like, talking about how, like, God is dead and we killed him,
Yeah,
right? Like
we did. Yeah, yeah,
that saying.
yeah.
And what he means isn't, it's like, as we progress as people and as
Hmm.
organisms, we find that there's, like, no real, like, objective meaning in the world.
Yeah,
So the answer to nihilism is art, because
yeah.
we are able to create communication and bond together as people. And so in many ways, as much as Matthew is like a devout man of the Lord, uh no, he is doing one of the most, like, atheistic things, which is create his own meaning
Yeah,
within
within art. Yeah,
with his own, like, personal life and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
which is really interesting.
I was so me and Matt have never really had. I mean, I'm sure once he gets on this podcast, we'll definitely have that conversation. But we've never really talked about religion, so I had no idea about that about him. But you said you were an atheist. I'm kind of, I guess, in the agnostic camp, because what I know is that I don't know. That's my big,
So an
things.
atheist.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah,
Sorry,
no,
I like to
in a
be an
way, yeah,
asshole about
no,
that.
in a
Yeah.
way, in a way. I'm not going to say that you're wrong or you're right, but no, it's in a way, But when did you come to that point in your life? I love hearing these stories. Like,
Yeah.
what point in your life where you're like, oh, I fuck God, I don't believe in him, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I think that is, like, one of the things to demystify. I think a lot of people, when they think about atheists, they think about, like, that it's usually an anger issue, right?
Yeah,
It's that
yeah.
I
I hate
hate
my
God,
I
or
hate my mom. Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
hate, yeah, it all stems
yeah,
from
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And, to be fair, a lot of atheists are, okay,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Rebellion. Yeah, they
Yeah,
love
exactly. It's
rebellion.
like,
Yeah,
I'm an atheist, fuck God, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
but okay. And so I was never, like, raised super like religious at all.
Hmm.
My mom, like, is spiritual. A lot of my family is spiritual, but they're not, like, practicing. They're not, like, any, like, denomination. They just
Yeah, yeah,
believe in, like, God.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So, like, because I never went to church and all these other things, and reading and thinking about it, it just came to the conclusion that it's like, well, do I really need, like, to believe, or it just seemed kind of a little bit weird to believe in this, like, higher power, especially when there's just, like, obviously, like, you read about, like, you read through the Bible and you read a lot of contradictions and stuff like that,
yeah,
stuff that, like, it's like, oh, this doesn't feel right, or this not just feels right, it's just not true,
yeah.
like,
You can't eat certain meats on certain days and shit like
yeah,
that.
exactly. That, like, there's no evidence that the Jews were in Egypt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, that was an origin story made by I forget the proto Jews.
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Canaanites.
Canaanite, yeah, Canaanites. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. There's, yeah,
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 and they were somewhere else, and
yeah, yeah.
so and they just took a
Is there a
storm got.
band? Is there a band called the Proto Jews? I think that's a great idea for a
I feel
band
like that
name.
would be like a punk band.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't
Cro-Mags
know.
and the Proto Jews. They're like together.
Yeah, just the word proto just
Yeah,
sounds like a
it's sick.
very,
Yeah,
very punk
yeah,
esque,
yeah.
or like Devo, like
Yeah,
that kind
Diva.
of,
Yeah, Diva's
yeah,
great,
like a
man.
Devo esque band. I don't know.
Have you
Anywho,
ever
but
seen
yeah,
Devo live?
no,
Yeah,
I want
I
to.
would love to see them live too. Yeah, I heard they still kill it, even to they're like in their 70s or whatever, and they're still
Oh, I'm
killing
sure.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's like very few bands that like that can do that.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
There's been I've seen a lot. So I saw so Brian Wilson just died last year, right?
yeah, yeah,
And I saw him
rip.
with yeah, right, yeah, that's right. No, because I mean he was at a time in his life, mostly the 60s and early 70s, he was a fucking genius. I mean, like I will say musically, I mean a goddamn genius. And so I was like, yo, I was so excited to see him. But he was like in his like I think late 80s or something like that when I
Yeah.
saw him. So they wheeled him out there with like a walker and everything, like wheeled him out,
Oh,
and then they sat him onto the piano, and it almost felt like he wasn't playing at all, and he just was like, doing the whole thing. And but I was like,
yeah.
I mean, that is Brian Wilson up on stage, you know what I mean? So I'm still technically seeing the genius behind the Beach Boys. He's up there, you
You
know.
you know what other artists that kind of makes it kind of sad to still see them, like they're still trying to tour, and it's like that they
Frankie
need it.
Valli. Have you seen those videos? I'm like,
No.
his eyes are like bloodshot, right, wide open like this. He looks like
Yeah.
an animatronic.
John Bon Jovi like
Oh, I
cannot hit a
haven't.
note.
No, yeah,
No, he can't hit it. Like it's really sad. Like he's like, you're trying to hear "Living on a Prayer," and
yeah.
it's his backing band, like all the back, like the entire backing band is like higher in
Oh, that's
volume than
crazy.
him
Wow,
because
wow.
yeah, he really can't hit those notes anymore, and it's kind of sad. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it felt kind of like that with Brian Wilson. Like I said, like he was singing, but like everybody else around him was also singing, and they sounded like their mics were EQ'd better than his was.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
like
I was like, well, his Brian
we're
Wilson,
gonna
like,
give
come
you a
on.
little lift.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
no, there's only yeah, like you said, there's not a lot of bands that can do that. I mean, I've seen the band that I've seen the most, I think, throughout my life live was Motley Crue. I've seen Motley
hmm.
Crue like 5 or 6 times now, some ungodly amount of times. And
Oh gosh,
yeah, and in the beginning when I first saw them, Vince Neil could hit notes and he was doing okay, whatever. But man, the last time I saw them, it was like the crowd was singing for most of it. He had the mic like pointed to the crowd and whatever. But I mean the
that's the same with
instruments are
Axl
still good.
Rose.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, which like I have Guns N' Roses tattooed on me, so
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah,
know how it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen them a million times too. But it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
but I saw him. One of my first concerts was seeing Guns N' Roses when I was in 92, 93. So it's like I
That
got
would
to
be like
see
the
him when he could
Use Your
sing.
Illusion tour.
Yeah, it was Use Your Illusion. So it's like I saw them when he could sing, and then I
Yeah,
also saw him in San Diego in 2028 or 2018 or something like that. And it was like,
2028.
all right, 2028. Yeah, I saw him in 2028 in the future. And he still sounds like Mickey Mouse. No, but the but
Oh,
that's what he sounds like. He's like, oh yeah, live and let die.
welcome to the jungle.
Welcome
Huh?
to the jungle. Yeah, no, exactly.
God,
It's all that. And
sorry.
again, no, it's fine. I love uh I still love him. I still love the band. It's like I'll never stop caring. It like I was telling the last in the last episode, my holy trinity
Right.
are Guns N' Roses, Jane's Addiction, and then I have Nine Inch Nails right there. Like
Hell yeah.
that's my holy trinity. Like I've seen them all multiple times live. Love
Well,
them. They
that's
could do
how
no wrong.
that's
That
how
kind
I
of
got
thing.
like started into like rock music, was because my dad was a huge GNR, Aerosmith, and the
Yeah.
Rolling Stones. That was like his like trifecta of
Yeah, that was
rock
my dad
bands.
too. My dad did he would blast Quiet Riot like throughout the house on like a Sunday when he was
Hell
like
yeah.
doing chores and shit. And it was just like hearing that, and then also I'm from Hollywood. Like I lived there in the
Yeah.
midst of like right there on Sunset and Fuller by the Rock and Roll Ralphs. So I was like
W-
right there in the midst
You
of
were
it
telling me
all.
that's you. Sorry.
No, no, go ahead. Yeah.
I was saying like I think you told me that story when you were like a little kid and like you and like a sibling or a friend
Yeah.
you were just
Uh,
running through Sunset
yeah,
in like
that's
the
what
middle of the
I mean,
night.
that's what I was telling my wife about it the other day because she was you know, we have our neighborhood now. We live over by SDSU. Like my kid can't really go out and run around or do anything because there's like really
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do or whatever. But my mom, what she would do is like when I want to say I was like 6, 7, 8, whatever. She would just be like, have at it. And me and my brothers and my friends and shit, we would just run up and down Sunset, up and down Hollywood Boulevard. It was like as little kids. And it was not a big, this is like 1989 to like 1995. And there was no like, you know, the cops weren't bugging us. We were never like, I mean, we did almost get kidnapped once, but that was like a whole nother story. But
Just
like,
one time, you
just one
know?
time, just one time. It's not a big
I
deal,
think every kid
you know.
needs to,
Well, but
almost get kidnapped at least once in their
but
life.
you'd think in Hollywood where like a lot of those like child stars are like, yeah, I got molested by every single like, producer in the world. You'd think
Mm-hmm.
like they would have guys with white vans out there just picking kids up, but they didn't. It wasn't like that. You know what I mean? So I
The
don't
list
know.
wasn't out yet, you know?
That's right. Yeah. And Weinstein, whatever the hell his name was, he was, he was focusing on other things at the time, I guess, but not kids. But
Crap.
yeah, that's right. Epstein and all those guys. But no, I I find it I find it that like when I hear that music, I'm transported back to the feeling of being in that area because that area had this I don't know if you've ever have you hung out on Sunset at all like in
Yeah.
your life? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you go back to like where the whiskey and the Roxy and all those places are and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Viper Room, all that stuff, there's like this feeling, this like I don't know what it is, and I don't know whether or not you feel it, but do you know what I'm talking about? Where like there's like kind of this energy that's there that's different from any other place you've been,
Oh
or
yeah, no,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. It
yeah,
has a different it
the
has a different
vibe,
vibe.
yeah, totally
It's
different
like
vibe.
I don't know. To me, it's like slightly. It's like obviously like the most. It's like the most dangerously bougie place.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like I was playing at the Viper Room a
Mhm.
while back for another artist, and yeah, like we were just hanging out and we
Do you
were
have an
just like walk.
NDA? Who was it? Was it somebody big? What's going on?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay,
no, no,
all
no.
right. I was,
It wasn't like
yeah,
Johnny Depp or something, you
yeah,
know,
that's right,
like
yeah, yeah.
the.
He owned the Viper Room at one point.
Was it him or was it
Yeah, it
his
was
like
him.
brother? Okay,
No, it was
okay,
him. Yeah,
yeah.
because we
I
we
think
yeah we used
I
to go
think
there a lot.
I think I played there when he owned it.
Oh, really? Yeah,
So
cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
I
he would
didn't.
no, yeah, he had so if you I don't know whether you remember, but they have like TVs all over the fucking place in there and they would be they show Brazil like on a loop. You remember that movie Brazil?
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah. And that was because Johnny Depp was like that's like his favorite movie or whatever. And
I
they
want
just
to play the movie Brazil.
That's right. Yeah. And was the rum gone? Yeah. He would do all
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. He would do
Sorry,
that.
I
No, it's
apologize,
okay.
folks.
It's okay. But no, I went there. I remember one time I went there with a buddy of mine, and we were outside having a cigarette, and the band that was going to go up, I forget what they're called now. I'm still friends with some of them on Facebook. This band, but um, they were going to play "Love Will Tear Us Apart" by Joy Division with the bassist from the Knack. You remember the My Sharona
Oh yeah,
guys?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the bassist from the Knack starts walking up to the front there, right there on Sunset, and there's a bouncer there, and he goes, "Yeah, she can't come in." And I guess he was there with his daughter, and she was like 17 or something, and he goes, why can't my daughter come in? And the bouncer's like, well, it's a bar. Like, you can't, nobody under 21 could be in this establishment. And he goes, do you know who I am? And he goes, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm the bass player for the Knack." And then the bouncer goes, "I don't give a fuck who you are." Like,
Hell yeah.
and me and my buddy were just smoking
Let's
cigarettes, cracking
go.
up, dude. It was the funniest thing. I
That
was
is
like,
the I
oh, it was
love
hilarious.
that. I love when fucking normal people are like, I don't give a shit.
I don't
Like,
care
you
about the
know,
Knack. Like
I'm
one
I'm too
song, dude. Like,
I'm so fucking
yeah,
tired. You know, I'm dealing with fucking drunk people all the night. Like,
yeah.
you are not, yeah.
He's like,
You are not.
I wrote my Sharona. Like, let me into this bar with my 17-year-old daughter. Like, no, like that's not. Sorry, like
Yeah.
it's absolutely insane. But no, I don't. But yeah, that's the. But I guess that energy there that's there in the Sunset Strip is what gives these people that courage in some ways to be like, hey, I'm somebody. Let me into this place, and they're like, no, like that's not how this works. Like you still need
Yeah.
something, I'm sure if Johnny Depp showed up there with Lily Rose or with his daughter, they'd let her in because the guy
Yeah.
owns the place. But the bass
She's
player
not
from the Knack,
famous enough.
no, no. And the bass player from the Knack is more famous than me, currently, so could I go there with my kid? No. You know what I mean? So it's like
Y'all are gonna have to get fake IDs like everybody
that's right.
else.
Yeah, yeah. If she had a fake ID, she would have been fine. But no, she didn't
Oh
even
yeah.
have that. She didn't even have that. But do you have any fake ID stories?
No, because I'm a good little Christian boy,
Oh,
except that we were
well,
just talking
we just
about.
talked about how you weren't.
Yeah, I know. Oh shit.
Yeah, yeah. When did
uh
you when did you drink for the first time? When was the first
actually
time you ever had alcohol?
it's really funny.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like 22, 23. Like not
Oh,
I
really?
wasn't like,
You didn't
yeah, I
drink it?
wasn't
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah, I'm gonna drink.
Oh,
Because like,
wow. Okay.
yeah, I think it was like in my mind
Yeah.
as a kid, because like you hear all these stories of like younger people doing drugs
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
drinking, and I was like, no, I'm gonna be cool and not do that like every
Yeah. Straight
fucking other
edge. You're
peasant. Yeah,
gonna yeah.
yeah, like every fucking other peasant, I'm
Yeah,
better than
yeah.
you
That's
because
right.
I can. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's
I'm self disciplined like a monk. Okay, no,
that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Until you're
even though,
22. Yeah.
yeah, right. Until I was 22, and
Yeah.
yeah, 22, and then I was like, let's go. No,
Get
I don't
fucked.
think. Yeah, right. That's it's the funniest thing. As much as I am like all these aspects that seem kind of rebellious, I don't feel like I'm like the most rebellious person in
Yeah.
terms of like you know those growing up stories of like you know, oh, I did this crazy shit, you know, back in the
Yeah, yeah,
day. I think I think that has to come from like I don't know. Like maybe a bit of like antisocial. I mean, like obviously, like kids are like psychopathic and just in general, just because
yeah.
they're like
Yeah.
their
They
brains are
don't know.
developing.
They don't know any better.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. They don't know.
they're not thinking about what's gonna happen like
No.
3 hours from now. They
Yeah,
just
yeah.
want to do this now. Yeah.
Yeah. It needs to
Um.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah. It's and so I don't know. I've always been like a very like introspective kid. Part of that had to do with like the fact that like um I was a very introverted person, way more introverted as a kid.
Yeah.
And
Than you are
so I
now. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is like, you know, I talk to
Yeah.
people, I guess.
No, that's good.
Uh
Yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah, yeah.
but like because of that, like I kept a lot to myself, and so that, and obviously when you're by yourself you start to think about things. Well, not anymore, because you have like the what I call the chupete, which is like it's Spanish for like pacifier. It's like a
Oh,
slang
okay.
term. And the chupete is like
Is
the
that doom
iPhone.
scrolling? The iPhone?
The
Yeah, yeah.
iPhone,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
your computer or whatever. It's like
yeah. Yeah,
you know, back in, I mean, I'm not that old. I mean,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
am old to some people.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But
How old are
like
you?
I am 31.
Okay, so I'm
Yeah,
40. You're in the same
yeah,
generation as me.
yeah.
We're millennials. It happened.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
I'm like the very last
yeah. And
before,
I'm at the
like
very first. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I'm
yeah,
last call, like
yeah, yeah,
essentially. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so I think, you know, as a kid, especially when you are bored, you're just bored, you
yeah,
know. you kind of have to sit there with the boredom.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike no,
Yeah. That's
but
right.
in that it's like you become much more, you start to think about things, you start to be much more introspective, you start to
Yeah.
think about like you as a person and identity and stuff like that. And I think because of that, maybe that allowed me to second guess certain things of like,
Mm-hmm.
why do I really want to like drink? Why do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
I'm sure that there was like some kind of like feeling of superiority of the fact that I didn't do that stuff while
Yeah.
everybody else was like, reveling in their id, and
Yeah.
I was like the super ego, like Zarathustra coming down like, no,
Yeah.
I'm better than you. And I feel like that's probably more likely the
Did
reasons.
did your parents have any kind of effect? Because I don't know anything about your home life. You haven't really said anything about that. But like, are your parents? Do either of them have any kind of addiction or anything like
N-
that?
no, actually,
No.
they're
Yeah.
all
Yeah. Okay.
pretty straight laced people.
Got it.
I
All
mean,
right.
I mean, I've grown around alcohol all my life,
Yeah.
but like it
Yeah. Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for I had, yeah, that was the other thing. I think a lot. I think even now with other friends and stuff like that, they have like, a lot of their trauma comes from like their blood family
Yeah.
or their biological family.
That's right. Yeah.
And so I think, but I will say that most of my life has been pretty good, and I have a
Good.
pretty good
No.
relation with my family.
No. It's all right,
So
man. Yeah.
so in some cases, I think, it's funny because you'll hear all like I have a lot of like friend circles that like obviously like hate this time of year because it's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
family
Friendsgiving
gathered.
and all that. Yeah. Yeah. They do all that
Yeah, and
shit.
so, and
Yeah.
obviously like
Yeah. Yeah.
to some degree, some people don't have like that blood relative family, so
No.
they have to
Yeah. Yeah.
find that found
Yeah.
family, and
Hmm.
so especially the season that it's more based on that kind of like family dynamic, it can be really hard sometimes. But I don't have that, so
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think I have like many of the problems of addiction or trauma that maybe
Most
a lot
people
of
do.
other people. Yeah,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that I'm better than everybody.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
I'm
no, I mean,
better than
yeah.
everybody.
Well, I mean, the like I said, the guy that was on the last episode, he also didn't really have that big of a like thing like that either. He's
Mhm.
close with his parents and stuff like that. My I don't know if I told you the story, whether or not I put it on Facebook or whatever, but both
As
of
you're talking, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna
no,
add
you're
some
good.
extra light so I don't
No,
look like I'm in a black void.
you're a vampire, yeah. But no, my both of my parents were drug addicts. My mother and father, actually, who turned out to be my stepfather, because I actually don't know who my real father is. My mother was a prostitute, and she got knocked up by one of her johns, and didn't know the guy's name, anything like that. So I, in turn, don't know the guy's name, don't know anything about him. And so my mom and dad they both died when I was a teenager. So I didn't find out about this other father until I was an adult already. And
Right.
so I did the DNA thing. I've literally spent thousands and thousands of dollars on DNA tests, and I'm no closer to this guy at all. Like, I don't have any kind of, like, I have like second cousins through him. And when I'm like, hey, who are your great grandparents or whatever, they're like, we don't know, because they're all Jewish. So like all the records stop at like the Holocaust. It's like they all got burnt
Yeah.
and destroyed and shit. And so that part of it sucks and whatever. But like at the same time, I'm like, you know, who am I and things like that. And when I started going to therapy, which was I started a long time ago, but when I started going back in my 30s, one of the first like activities or whatever that my therapist gave me was to like write down a list of male figures that I look up to, in my life because I don't
Mhm.
have a father figure around, And I put Alexander the Great and and Axl Rose and Trent Reznor and Dante and all the I put
Oh
all these
boy.
like yeah
Oh
all these
boy.
yeah. And my therapist is looking at it. He's like, well, we got a lot of work to do, I guess.
This all makes sense
This all makes
now.
a lot of sense. Yeah. But so like, but I have a wife and a stepson now and everything, and it's like, so these the holidays really aren't um that much different than I guess everybody else's because I have a family and shit to do it with. But before them, before all that, yeah, I would like travel. Like I went to Egypt on Thanksgiving. Like literally, I was like, oh, thanks. I'm not doing anything on Thanksgiving. I don't have a family, so I would dip out, or I'd go to Las Vegas for Christmas. I used to do shit like that. I would just travel and
Mhm.
by myself or whatever, or with somebody. Um, but yeah, I family has always been like not a touchy subject for me because I don't really give a fuck about like talking about it, but
Mhm.
it's one of those things where like if you do have a good relationship like you do with your folks and shit, like hey, more power to you. I have no jealousy or any kind of resentment or anything like that about it. Like I
Yeah.
wish I had that, but like I'm happy that people that I respect and talk to have that experience, you know what I mean? And kudos to your folks for not being complete fuck ups like mine. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
that.
you grow up and then you realize that it's pretty easy to be a fuck up.
Oh, it
So,
is. No, it's super duper.
like it
No, yeah, yeah,
really
yeah,
is.
yeah,
You do
yeah,
one thing and then you
hmm
realize, oh, that boat that I bought probably
yeah.
is not a good
Not a good
idea.
idea. Yeah, yeah. I
Not a
should
good
not have
idea.
gotten on that plane with this Jeffrey Epstein guy. Yeah, yeah. All that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I have a photo of Steve Bannon
Oops.
with me and
Oops.
Steve. Have you seen
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
photo
I've
of
seen all those. Yeah.
Chomsky?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Chomsky. Well, okay, so I'm going to talk about Chomsky for a second.
please do. Please
Yeah, yeah,
do.
yeah. So, I I had somebody that I knew in my life who was a huge linguist, and they respected Chomsky a lot. And that person I'm not really close with anymore. So to see Chomsky being like on Epstein's island, it made me
You're
kind
like,
of,
ha ha
I,
ha.
yeah, yeah. I was kind of because we used to argue about shit like that all the time. I'd be like, ah, well, you know, whatever. Um, the person who I guess I was the least surprised at seeing on the island was Chris Tucker,
Bill.
and I don't know
Oh,
why.
I was gonna say Bill because
Well,
like
no,
yeah,
Bill.
that
I
makes
mean,
sense.
Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's Bill Clinton. Like, yeah, of course, the guy. You know, the cigar, the Monica Lewinsky thing. Who the,
I
you know, who knows?
I just like that he doubled down. He's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So
Show
yeah, 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 yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah. That's right. No, he goes.
Yeah.
He's like you've seen Lethal Weapon, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So that scene where Mel Gibson he goes on the roof with that one guy who's about to jump, and he goes, "Oh, you want to jump? Let's
Jump.
jump!"
Yeah,
And he like
that's
grabs his
exactly
hand.
what
He goes,
happened.
"Oh, okay. You
That's
want to
ex-
jump? Let's
you
do
want
it.
to jump? Let's do it.
Let's jump."
I got
Yeah.
nothing to lose.
hmm And
I'm
yeah,
old.
but the thing that people don't understand, and I guess like this is gonna segue into something different, but and maybe this will segue into the abandonment theory thing, but once you get to a certain point in success in life, you've experienced everything. And once you experience everything, what more is there to keep your life? You know what I mean? What more is there before you start going like, hey, you know, it'd be cool if I could like go get a gun and start like hunting people, you know, and shit like
and
that's the
and
kind of thing,
that's
you know.
why and that's why there needs to be a wealth cap. So
That's
then
right.
you will
That no, that's
always think
exactly it.
about it, but you
Yeah,
can't do it. No,
exactly.
I
No.
okay, but like to go back
Yeah.
uh to go back on the family stuff.
Yeah, I love how we segue around all these
I
things. It's
know
great. It's great.
it's the neurodivergence
It's
in me.
great.
I will talk
The
about
both
a
of
different
us were
concepts.
both there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. Perfect. Beautiful. Mwah. So I think like to go back on that, like I mean like for a lot of people, I think a lot of people nowadays like they have to find meaning of what the holidays are, and so
hmm
many in many ways like you kind of creating that tradition of like going somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Makes it good. Like, I enjoy the holidays because I have memories of like me and my me, my brother, my two other cousins,
hmm
all playing like video games and like old school land play where you have
Yeah,
like
yeah, 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 yeah.
actual like two
What was your drug of choice? Your game of choice? What would you
a
play?
game of choice. It depends on like what we were doing at that time because like
Yeah.
we were also playing like old Korean MMOs to
Oh, okay.
like PS2. We were playing what we were playing. We were playing like Ratchet and Clank 3. There was a
That's a good.
multiplayer for that one.
Ratchet and Clank's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah.
And then my brother, my brother, my cousin, and myself, we used to play a co-op game called Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. It's
Okay,
like
Final Fantasy's
the
cool. Yeah,
least
yeah.
the least popular Final
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy
game.
game. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
on the GameCube, and it was like it
Yeah.
had this function where you connect your SP
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
onto the
Yeah, yeah.
GameCube.
Uh-huh.
And so that's how we played
Oh
that,
wow.
and it was like it was a lot of fun. But like it's like stuff like that where like the four of us like actually like playing video games and stuff like that and like eating good food. But
Good. Yeah, yeah.
like
No,
you had
I tried playing I tried I'm a huge completionist. I'm one of like I don't know. I have again, I'm probably super duper autistic, but like I have this huge completionist like thing in my brain where it's like if I don't get something done, I can't move on to the next thing. And
no, for
so
sure.
so the new Final Fantasy game was coming out. It was like 15, 16, something like that. I forget which one it was. And I was like, you know what? I haven't really played all the Final Fantasies. I played 7 a little bit when I was a kid, like on PlayStation 1, but I hadn't played any of the other ones. And so I was like, I'm going to play all of them in a row. And so I played Final Fantasy 1. I loved it. I thought it was great. And then I got like halfway through Final Fantasy 2 and I like stopped playing it. And then I was like, I need to go back and finish it before I can move on to Final Fantasy 3. And then so I did that. I finished Final Fantasy 2 and I moved on to Final Fantasy 3. And then I played Final Fantasy 3 for like 3 hours and then I still
Oh
haven't
my
gone back to
god.
it. So I haven't even finished that. But like I'm like, I need to get through all these games in order to get to the other one. But I don't know why I am that way, and I don't know why it matters that much. But I did the same thing with like Resident Evil. I was like, oh, I'm gonna play all the Resident Evil.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Because the new one's coming, Requiem's coming out. It's got Leon in it. I
Right?
know that
Yeah.
like fucking Final Fan
It
or
was
Final
I
Fantasy,
was so
Resident
hyped. I'm
Evil.
so hyped.
Are you
My
hyped for
first
it? Yeah.
Yeah, what was your first
Resident
Resident
Evil
Evil game?
2. It was 2. So my the
Same.
double disc. Yeah, 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 yeah. It was
Double disc with Claire and
yeah,
Leon.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because that was like my first exposure. I never played 4 or 5 or anything like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I got hooked, and it was like the tank controls. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
and it was like one of the first games where like saving was like something like
You had to,
treasured.
yeah, with the
Yeah,
typewriter and shit. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
you had to do it.
Yeah, and like it was like that idea of like real true survival horror. Like even like your saves, you got to be very like
Yeah,
super strategic.
strategic. You had
Yeah.
to be, yeah, yeah, super duper.
You couldn't just save like normal people. And then
No,
I and then
no,
I forget like, old video games and stuff like that. You couldn't pause the
no, you could,
cutscenes.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah, you
had to
couldn't. You had to watch them.
yet
Yeah, which is why Kojima was so revolutionary because like his whole
oh
everybody called
Kojima.
his games movies because it was like 99% cutscenes and 1% actual gameplay. But I still love Metal Gear Solid is still one of my favorite franchise. Metal Gear Solid 2 is my second favorite game of all time. I mean, easily,
That's
easily.
Yeah, that's a good
You know,
one.
yeah, yeah.
I would say
What's
like
your number one game ever, like ever of all
it's
time?
gonna be lame, but Kingdom Hearts. I love Kingdom
Kingdom
Hearts.
Hearts. Okay, the
Yeah, the
first one, or yeah, yeah.
first one. I know that like it's popular that like your favorite one is two.
Yeah,
Two
yeah,
has like really good battle mechanics, and it's like a
yeah.
lot of fun. Like the
The
boss,
boss stuff. Yeah, yeah,
the boss stuff is really fun.
yeah,
I think that obviously it's also like made fun of by the story, but like I
yeah,
don't think it's that complicated. I do think it is. It can be, I guess, a little convoluted. But if you play them in release order, it makes sense.
yeah. I've never played the Kingdom Hearts games. I mean, even though I do love Disney and I do love the Final Fantasy shit. So I mean, I'm sure it's great. But my
Yeah,
oh, look at you! You got
yeah. I have the
the
key.
key thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
What is
key
that called?
sword.
It's a key
Oh,
sword. Okay,
the Keyblade.
Keyblade. Yeah, again, I have
And
no.
then and
We
then oh,
we used to also have a Keyblade when I was a drug addict, and I was.
well, that's a different kind of Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts. I did see Goofy though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got Goofy. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got Goofy, and if you took a little too much, I sounded like Donald.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, the whole thing.
perfect.
Yeah, yeah. But no, my number one game of all time was I don't care whether it's lame or not lame, but Super Nintendo, that was my big like console,
Yeah.
was Shadowrun. There was a game called Shadowrun,
I
and
don't know that one.
yeah, so it was a tabletop game first, like a Dungeons and Dragons type thing, and then they
Oh,
converted
okay.
it. Yeah, they converted it over to the video game arena, and I felt like it was like it's basically. Have you played Cyberpunk 2077?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like that mixed with I guess like a Witcher type thing. It's like Witcher
Okay.
and Cyberpunk combined. If they
That's
combine both
funny
of those,
because
yeah, they're made by the
they're
same
made with
company.
the
Yeah,
company
yeah,
CD
yeah, yeah,
Project
yeah.
Red. Yeah.
Project Red, yeah, yeah.
So
But
it's
if they,
CD Project Red,
yeah,
but
yeah,
back
yeah,
in the Super Nintendo. Yeah.
basically, yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, I love that game very much, and a lot of people weren't into it, and but that was actually the first game that introduced me to concepts like the Matrix and shit like that. Like there's like you get jacked into like this mainframe in the game, and you have to
Oh
like
shit.
through a computer and everything. And this is
Yeah.
like 1993, 92, like way before Matrix came out and all that. So when the Matrix came out, I was like, that kind of reminds me of Shadowrun. You know what I mean? Even though most people were like, oh, well, that's this and that and whatever, you know. And
Like everything else.
yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. You mean you could spot the inspiration? Wow.
Yeah.
How brave. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I hate that when people
Mhm.
use that as an argument to like disqualify art. It's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like this. It's like yeah, like everything. Nothing
yeah.
comes like out
Everything.
of a
Yeah.
vacuum.
No, and nothing's original. And so that's
Yeah,
the yeah.
it can't
And
be.
no, it can't be. And
Like
even things in the we're gonna go back to religion now. Even things in the Bible aren't
oh
original.
yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
massively.
Yeah,
It's like
the Noah's
they
Ark thing and all that shit, that was all in Gilgamesh. Like that whole thing
mhm.
was in Gilgamesh. You know, like
I mean, like even like traditional stuff. It's just incorporate. It's in, but like humans them like we use pattern recognitions. That's how
yeah,
we
like
learn, and that's how
it's our
and we
brains, man.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the concept of a thing like we need something to base off. Like even the concept of a self. Like if you were in a white void, right,
Yeah,
you would not know that you were a concept.
yeah,
You were a thing separate from the void because all
yeah,
you would see is like if you were like bodiless
yeah,
until right
yeah,
you have an object like a tree or a ball,
yeah.
then the concept of self becomes a thing because
Couldn't,
now
yeah,
you're like we're in this thing. I see a thing, right? That's different to me,
yeah,
and so the fruition of self, like the concept of a self starts to take shape, right?
yeah,
And so like everything, right, is in itself like breathing like you can't make anything
no,
from like thin air. It
nothing. Yeah,
comes
yeah,
from very like subtle stuff from like your day-to-day life, from the subconscious and all these other things. Like it's
yeah,
just not. So like I don't know. Yeah,
yeah.
originality is like a waste of time
I read
basically.
somewhere, and again, like I have that legal disclaimer in the beginning of the episode about how like you shouldn't like take anything we say as fact. And this is definitely one of those things. I read somewhere, I believe, um, I read it that
I don't believe it.
yeah, I don't believe it either. But that they gave these tools to these monkeys that were on the coast of Japan, and then they
Oh
gave
yeah.
the same tools to these monkeys that were on the coast of China, like a whole ocean away, and they watched how they were able to these monkeys that were different species, this whole thing,
Yeah.
how they used them, and it turned out that when one species figured it out, the species across the ocean figured it out almost like a few minutes later, the same way. And they'd had these tools for months, and it was like once they figured it out, there was some weird like. And they tried to like explain it as like there's this hive mind network of like all this stuff. That's why sometimes when I get an idea for something, I'm always like, fuck, like I know that because I had that idea, either I got influenced by something that somebody else got influenced by and has that idea too, or that idea is about to pop into somebody else's head. And whether or not they go forward with it will, because I had an idea one time about this comic book that I was going to write. And I started writing the comic book and I got like 3 or 4 issues into it. And then my buddy goes, "Oh, hey, you got to check this comic book out that just came out." And I was like, "Oh, what is it called?" And he like said it, and it wasn't the same as my title, but he's like, describing it to me, and I'm like, fuck, I had that idea like 5 months ago, and I started writing it already, and I was so bummed out. I was like, fuck, you know. But then he's like, well, he goes, keep writing it, you know,
Yeah.
keep doing it, whatever. And I was like, no, I'm good. And I just stopped, like, because I was like, I was just discouraged by the fact that like somebody else had that idea before I did, you know.
Yeah, I think that like need to be original is such a
It sucks, dude.
uh
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like okay, I'm gonna show a little bit of my political leanings, but
No,
I
go
do
ahead. I don't
think
care.
that
Yeah, yeah.
no, I know. I was just
I'm not worried
I was
about it. I'm
just
not going to be
I'm
like,
just joking.
hey, we're deleting this part. No, I would never
You
do that.
should.
Yeah,
No.
so yeah.
What I think,
Yeah, yeah.
no, but I do think that a lot of like the concept or the strive to be original comes from a more of like because we live in such a commodified society,
Yeah.
and that originality means like economic viability,
Yeah, you're going to
right?
have more money. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So
Mhm.
like when you create a concept that is very similar, like there was like a couple movies like Ants and Bugs Life, right?
Yeah, they came
They
out at the
came out
same
around at the
time.
same
Yeah, yeah.
time,
Or
right?
Deep Impact and Armageddon. Those came out like
Exactly.
within a year of each other. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And rather than like looking at it for like maybe them being just different, different art that you could just
Hmm.
watch, and maybe come to your conclusion, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it has to like, it's like, oh, one's a copycat of the original. Why can't you make something original? And it's like,
Actually.
yeah, actually, yeah, exactly. And it ruins like the art, I think. But yeah, like the strive for originality is bullshit, and I think people need to like get over it. It's like most of your ideas have been like it's just that it's all like all these different things coming together to influence the idea that it
Yeah.
looks like an original idea, but it's not.
So you're I want to call you because I don't do it as often as you do, but I want to call you a professional musician because I mean you
That's what I
have.
tell myself.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like you do it
I
more
do
than
get
I
paid.
do, and you get paid to do it. I don't, you know,
I
like
do.
yeah. So I'm a hobbyist or whatever you want to call it, or a bedroom musician is what I call
So
myself.
I
But
call you an artist. I don't
yeah,
I don't
yeah, artiste.
I
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
mean like obviously like professional is like such a bullshit term. I don't
No,
know.
I know.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't like to gatekeep the word. It's like if you make art, whether you make money out of it or not,
Or
I
not. You're
consider
still
you
doing
yeah.
art. Yeah, no, I get
Yeah.
it. But I was gonna ask like who were your biggest influences for the stuff that you make, and do you hear that those ideas that you've been influenced by in the music that you create?
DJ Khaled. DJ,
Yeah, 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 yeah. And
DJ
that's and
Khaled.
that's how you do every song. You're like Diego,
Yeah, exactly. The four
Diego.
best rappers in the world.
Yes.
Dylon, 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 Dylon. That's the
Yeah,
problematic is
that's
Dave
funny.
Chappelle. That was a funny ass
Hey, he's
sketch.
great. He's
I
great.
love it. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
No, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if necessarily that like I do have like many artists that I love like
yeah.
deeply,
Uh-huh.
and I wish that I could make like music like that,
Yeah.
but in actuality, I don't know, it always comes out. I always find so like there are artists like Rodrigo Amarante, who was like a super huge he's like a super huge in Brazil from the
Okay.
band Los Hermanos, but he
Okay.
he wrote the Narcos theme song.
Oh, cool. All right.
So so yeah, most people internationally would know
That's how
that
they
song.
know him. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I love his music. It's great. I don't think that I'm like make music like he does, but maybe in some way, maybe it does translate like on a more subconscious level. And then there's like obviously like people like Slash
Yeah,
or Dave Grohl a lot
yeah,
because
yeah,
I used to listen to a lot of Foo Fighters
yeah.
and Nirvana as well. Like
Are you
you know,
influenced by his cheating on his wife? No, I'm just kidding. No,
yes, very much so. That
You find
and
any of those ideas running through your head?
I really do. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. No, I had an idea. I had an idea similar to that for a book at one point, and I was like talking to one of my mentors in my writing program about it,
Mhm.
where I was like, at what point do you read? Because we were reading David Foster Wallace, The Infinite Jest, and all that stuff, and I was like, he hung himself, and I'm like, at what point when you're reading his stuff do you feel that those suicidal ideations? And I'm like,
Right?
you know what I mean? And I'm like, could you write something that could essentially do that to somebody. And then I was thinking about it, I'm like, the Bible does
Isn't
that
that
all the
what
time. I mean, that's like,
I was gonna say?
yeah,
James Cameron's Avatar.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, fire and
There was like all
ash.
these
And
there was all these like newspapers talking about how like people like wanted to kill themselves because they
it
weren't
was
in.
so, yeah, Pandora. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they
heard
wanted
about
to
it.
go to Pandora,
Yeah,
but if
that's
they
right. Yeah.
waited like 12 years to go to Disney World, they would
They
have.
would have been fine because it's right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it
Well,
would
it's
have.
funny. It's funny you say that because one of the only positive thing, and again, I'm shitting on art right now, which like you're right. I
You
shouldn't be
should,
doing that. I should.
as you
Well,
should.
some of it I should. Some of it I shouldn't. But I saw that new Batman movie, the one with Rob Pattinson, and the
The
only
Batman.
yeah, the Batman. And the only positive thing that I got out of that movie was that I was pissed off that I couldn't go to Gotham City. I left the theater and I was like, man, I really wanted to go to Gotham. Like, it felt
Okay,
like a real place. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like,
no,
I was like, that's sick.
I
Like,
love that. I do miss like the style, like Gotham, and like specifically the DC in particular,
yeah,
because
yeah,
they
yeah.
always make like differences with
Great.
like the city in
Yeah.
itself as a
Uh-huh.
character, and especially
Yeah.
like for Batman, Gotham is such a huge like core character
Yeah.
in the thing. Like it's just
Mhm.
not Chicago. Like
No,
that's the
it's
one
not.
thing
Yeah.
I
Or New
hate.
York. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I like that's the one thing I hate about like the Nolan films is that it's
Yeah.
just
It
like
is
it's
Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah. It's Chicago.
It's
Yeah.
Chicago. And it's like,
That's right. Yeah.
no, it's like Gotham City is like Gotham City. That's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
like the first one felt very stylized. And so yeah, that was the thing I
Yeah.
did like about the Batman.
No, the new one that was the only positive thing. Now, if you were to ask
The
me, now
Batman.
my favorite Batman movie of all time is, and again, this is the one that a lot of people fucking hate this one, but Batman Forever, the one with Val
Is that the one
Kilmer.
with Freeze? Oh,
No, Freeze is Robin, Batman and Robin. That was
that's
yeah,
okay.
that was after that one, but it's the same director as Joel Schumacher,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah, Schumacher did he did Lost Boys, he did a bunch of cool shit like that I
Mhm.
respect. But like the Gotham that was in there was kind of like this stylized, colorful version of Tim Burton's, which Tim Burton's still think is the coolest Gotham. That was the one that like when I saw it, I was like, this is what Gotham is. Like it's like there's steam rising from the streets. There's fucking these it's all
It's
Art
just
Deco,
mhm.
like all that stuff. Like that stuff in my soul, I like feel it kind of thing. And then Joel Schumacher was like, I'm gonna do the same thing, except there's gonna be like neon green everywhere.
And
And I
bat
was like,
nipples.
yeah, and bat nipples and all that stuff. Which like again, I didn't mind, and I actually thought Val Kilmer. This is the reason why I like that movie the most. Val Kilmer, I felt like was the most comic accurate Batman because if you
I
read the
did like Val
comics,
Kilmer.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, he's great. If you read the comics though, like his battle in his brain, like you could feel the psychological shit when he was on screen and talking. The battle he was having in his own mind is the battle that Bruce Wayne has in the comic book. And you're like, so as I was watching it, I was like, well, this is exactly what I read. Whereas like the Nolan ones, he's like not that. And
No.
I do love Heath Ledger and I love Dark Knight. It was great, whatever. But I only love those movies because I love Heat. I love Michael Mann, and it's very, and he stole all that stuff from Michael
I
Mann. You know,
just the more I watched The Dark Knight, the original, like
yeah,
a bit of it just demystifies it now because I know that the superpower that Batman had was Palantir.
that's what it. Yeah,
That
that's exactly
that
what
was
it
really
was.
what it
Yeah,
is. It
yeah.
was
The
Palantir.
government. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's wrong.
That's
Yes.
it. Yeah, yeah.
But we're gonna fight a bad guy.
So
So
saith
no.
what's the Antichrist name who owns Palantir? What's that guy's name? I forget his
Uh,
name now.
don't
Fuck.
look at me. Don't look
Yeah, I
at me.
can't
Please
remember
don't
his
look at
name,
me.
but he owns Palantir, and he was on there talking about him and Sam Altman, the OpenAI guy. They're all buddies and all that. What do you think about AI music? What do you think about that? Since we're talking about music.
I'm a very reaction I have Luddite opinions about
Oh, do
that.
you really? Like, no, to state them. I didn't actually start using AI at all until very recently. Like, and it was all
Yeah.
yeah, and it was only because I needed it for something and I used it for 5 seconds and then I was like, okay. And then I
Uh,
started using that Sora, those video things, and I thought that
sort
was
of yeah.
fun because I was like, oh, this is fun. But I use
This
it
is
as a
all yeah.
it's just fun. It's like I'm not using it to make money or do anything like that. But it's like,
Right.
yeah.
I think that like okay, well first this is the premise, right? This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not real AI. This is generative AI
It
or
is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
LLM. So it's not
It's learned
so
off of
like
something else. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so like a real AI artificial intelligence would be like a living thing And
Yeah.
at that point, if it's making art, it's just like another artist. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
congratulations, you just made another
You made
person.
another
Like,
human being.
yeah,
Yeah,
another
yeah,
human being. Yeah, another organ. Because like we know that like other animals like make art or make things like
yeah.
aesthetic
Yeah,
because they do that for, I mean, obviously for maybe a little bit like lower basic reasons,
hmm,
like obviously like birds, like male birds sing
yeah,
for mating purposes, or
yeah,
like, you know, there are certain animals like will look a certain way aesthetically, not
yeah.
just like for the appeal, but like we also know that dolphins do like acknowledge their, like when they look at themselves in the mirror, they not only acknowledge it, but they like do think, like some of them are like, damn, I look good.
They
Well, I
know
mean,
that
like,
they're that. Yeah,
yeah, they have a response to aestheticism. So like aestheticism in it of itself is something that is actually much more primal,
yeah,
much more shared among organisms than what we actually think. It's not like just a human thing, a human phenomena. I
yeah,
think it's like I think that creating art, right, is like something that comes out of like being as like much more as self-aware as we are.
yeah. Hmm.
But like I think all animals do contribute into art. Okay, sorry,
No,
long,
you're good. No, yeah, yeah. Long-winded way of
yeah,
saying
context, preface, and whatever. I don't
AI.
think,
No, no.
yeah, I don't like AI. I think it's
Yeah,
demon tech. I do
yeah,
think that a lot of it is I mean, like excluding or like, you know, go past the whole idea of like it does take art from other things, like it does.
yeah,
And like it steals art
yeah.
from other
Are
artists,
there artists?
or like I don't know if it's Warner, but I know that one of like the music labels have allowed like Sora to use their music catalog to
Yeah,
use
yeah, yeah, yeah,
tech.
yeah, yeah.
Um
Well, and
and
now they just released, didn't they just release like a 300 terabyte complete download of Spotify the other day, and then they were saying that app Suno or whatever the hell, they're like
mhm.
sitting there like rubbing their hands ready to use it because
Oh
that's what they're
yeah,
going
no,
to do.
100%.
They're just going to put that whole 300 terabytes into their
Yeah.
LLM, you know.
Yeah, I don't think that any of it, and like you can see, we can, and we're starting to see like like the art, not the articles, the or like the scientific articles come out,
Yeah,
like stuff like chat gpt using it for essays
yeah,
actually
yeah,
makes
yeah,
you dumber.
yeah, of course,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
and like my aunt, who is like a who does like a lot of coding, or who
uh,
is a coder,
yeah, yeah.
like she like said it simple as like, yeah, that makes sense. Like if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it.
Yeah, if you don't practice, then you can't
Yeah.
do it. You're not going to be able to do anything. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and so I think that one of the I think that it holds like I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound alarmist when I
yeah,
talk about this stuff, because I think that even though I do believe in the alarmism of
yeah.
AI, I think that for a lot of people that might kind of turn people off, and I do think that, and that is not what I want to do, but I do want to say that I think that when we use these kinds of tech, right, we are making a deal with the devil in many
Yeah.
ways. And while we get convenience, we lose a part of our soul. And this
Mhm.
is not just AI, but many things that we take for convenience,
Yeah.
like say social media. Like these are
Mhm.
funny things,
Yeah.
or like the little, you know, the little like face selfie kind of
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
things,
The
like all of
avatar
that.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, or like just like the like you put on like those effects on your
Oh, the
face, right?
filters, the
Like,
filters.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
filters,
Yeah,
yeah.
filters. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
all of that is just, you know, what are they doing with that information? Oh,
Yeah.
they're using that for face recognition software.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
And we're all worse off for it.
yeah.
Like we are, and we lose a
Yeah.
little bit of our soul and a little bit of our humanity. And every time we use these like kinds of AI, or whether it be AI or other technology, we are selling a we are making a deal,
Yeah.
and that deal we are carving up a little bit of our soul.
Yeah.
and a little bit of our soul is lost. And so now when we have these things, we can't really enjoy them as
No.
much as we can because
No.
we've lost like our soul. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the more we give up, the more we take these trades to like,
Hmm.
and then our little bit of our soul is something that we can't get back.
Yeah.
And now when we try to enjoy life, we
Yeah.
can't. Like
Well,
the
it's kind of like the concept that the Native Americans had about when the white man showed up with cameras. They were
Mhm.
like, "Oh, if you take a picture of us, like a part of our soul goes into that picture or whatever." And I feel like that was because they felt. I mean, they didn't really explain it too much. They just said that that's how they felt. But how you're saying it right now, it's kind of given me the idea that how they felt was that if I can look at you and remember your face without a picture, that makes me better, not better, but like, what I mean, that makes my brain sharper and everything. Whereas if
it
I had a picture of you, it's like I've got a piece of you that should be gone and I should just remember you. I shouldn't have to have a picture of you around to remember what you look like or who you are, you know.
right. And I and then our world becomes less like, it just becomes much more like the wine becomes ash, the
Yeah, yeah,
food
yeah, yeah, yeah.
tastes less, and
Hmm.
everything, and we're all worse off for it.
Yeah. And it all intermingles and becomes kind of like mush. Like
Yeah.
everything just becomes and that's what they're seeing with the AI too, is that it's kind of eating itself. It's using
Hmm.
its own bullshit to regurgitate bullshit out to people. You
Yeah,
know?
and all of this is being funneled through, like, it's, and to be honest, it is like a pump and dump scheme for
Yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah.
people for
Yeah, yeah.
speculative investments to help. And like, to go off on it, it's like we see these things and we don't really like, how do I put it? Like, I guess it's like all these speculative investments on AI, like they don't really actually like perform very well, or
No.
like they don't actually
No.
create like anything,
No.
or
Jobs, anything. Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
don't make us productive.
No.
Like, they've also found out that many people who have used AI in their workplace does not, it actually lowers productivity than
Yeah.
actually like
Yeah.
creates that.
Mm.
Also, like, you don't want an AI to be um like, you don't want AI to manage things. You don't want it to be a
No.
manager, because there needs to be somebody capable, culpable, because like
Yeah.
in a way, like on a philosophical level,
Hmm.
right? Like, you and I breathing and existing,
Hmm.
like, there is some skin in the game,
Yeah.
right? So like when you create an airplane, right,
Yeah.
and you built that thing, right, you want to make sure that everything on that plane
Yeah.
like is fine
And
and stays
everybody's
up in this.
safe. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
it stays up in the sky, or it's your ass.
Yeah. Hmm. But
It's
if an
your,
AI does it,
they don't
then
have
no.
that kind of awareness, and it's like things like, and they're using it for law,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
who do we blame, who do we put
Well,
in
that's the
accountability?
Minority Report. The fucking,
Right.
that's what it's going to get to, where it's going to be like, it's going to see your life. It's going to have, somebody's going to
Yeah.
funnel your stuff in there, and it's going to say, well, Robert's going to become a serial killer, so we should put
you
him in
know
jail today. You know what I mean?
you know who else, there's an anime that kind of pretty much did Minority Report as
Psychopaths.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Psychopaths, dude. That's one of my
Yeah, no,
favorites. Yeah,
it's a good one. I didn't like the second season so
yeah,
much, but
yeah,
I love the
yeah.
first
Yeah,
one.
the
That was
first
good.
season's a classic. Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's
But
great.
like,
No, yeah.
it's like, yeah, but then there are like characters that could literally be serial killers because
Hmm.
the AI processes them as like, oh, they're like good.
Yeah,
So now and now
yeah,
they're just like, oh yeah, nothing can harm, like the
yeah.
psychopaths won't, like the guns won't work on me.
But then, but
And
then, spoiler alert, it turns out that there were actually psychos in charge of the psychopaths the
oh,
whole time.
100%, yeah. Of course, if the
Spoiler alert.
psychopath, that, yeah. Well, like, that's the thing, right?
No, I
It's
know.
like
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Elon Musk and stuff like that. Like, they allowed, like, he's like, oh, we'll use AI and it'll be like based and red pilled and
yeah. Yeah, and
not
we're all
do
gonna
that. And
have
then
you. And he keeps talking about UBI, like Universal Basic Income,
yeah,
because AI takes over everything. It's bullshit. It's all
yeah,
it's all like PT Barnum. There's a sucker born every minute. Like
oh,
if you
100%.
believe that shit, you're PT Barnum's boy. That's like that's.
Oh, 100%. Like, and like here's the thing, like the robber barons of yesteryear, like the Rockefellers, right?
Yeah.
Like at
Yeah,
least
yeah.
their greed and stuff like that produce things in
It
the real
created,
world.
yeah, it created art. It created everything, like
Some like
all that stuff. Yeah,
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 it
yeah.
created stuff that like people like down the line could
Hmm.
actually see. Like, what are these people making? They're making nothing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's all
yeah,
imagination dollars
yeah,
that is
yeah,
filtering into real dollars for whatever reason.
yeah. That
And
doesn't
yeah,
make sense. Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
But the whole point is that yeah, I just think objectively like AI art is not good. And there's like a really good there was a really good example that I was like listening to, like, you know, if you like you could say that AI might have like cost benefit things,
yeah,
right? You could say
yeah,
that, oh, well, you can use it for good or for, you know,
yeah.
for bad or whatever. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not just entirely bad. Like, for example, if I had a pill
Mhm.
that in which I take, right, whenever I look at a person, I can alter somebody's memories
Yeah,
or erase them and they would never know,
yeah,
right? I would say that that technology is evil,
yeah,
but you could probably see how like that technology could be used in good
yeah.
ways.
Like
Like, for
eternal
example, like
sunshine of the spotless mind. Like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I could use that pill to erase the trauma from trauma
yeah,
people,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Good. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
inherently that
Is
it's
not
just
what it's going to
bad.
be. Yeah, well, and then
Yeah.
also that's not what it's going to be used for.
Oh,
They're gonna
100%.
use it to fuck everybody over and put it in our water and shit. That's what's going to end up happening. You
Well,
know?
I mean, I could see why Epstein would love that kind
Oh, he
of
would.
thing, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Because yeah, he
Easy.
could traumatize you and then give you that pill and you'll be fine. You
Yeah,
won't
you'll be
remember
fine.
shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. And I think that like okay, to go back, it's just yeah, I think that
We've been abandoned by God. No, that's
well, no, I mean, you see all these things and I can
yeah,
understand why people like cling to it because it gives them a sense of security and a sense of safety that
yeah,
there is something beyond this, that this world is crazy, this world is like insane, but you know, at least after all of this there's like something going on watching over me.
yeah.
But
We had a kind of a similar conversation, like I said last episode, where I was talking about my beliefs on how after I die, what will happen. And I kind of was touching on the fact that, like, before I was born, I didn't, like you were talking about the void and like permanence and things like that. Like, before I was born, I didn't know that I existed. And then when I was born, I figured it out eventually that I exist. And then once I die, am I going to go back to that state of not knowing I exist? I mean, who knows, right? Nobody really knows what happens, but it sucks to like it sucks to not be certain about it. And there was a whole time in my life. I guess we're going to go back to Elon Musk a little bit. There was a whole time in my life
hell yeah.
when he was getting rich and making a bunch of money, where I would hit him up on Twitter. I would like, tag him and shit. And I'd say the only thing you should be using your money for is to find out what happens after we die. That's what I told him. I was
Oh
like,
no.
that's what you need to be
Oh
doing. Like,
no.
nothing else should be spending your money on. Like, whatever. And because I feel like that's like one of those things that once that's figured out, because we don't know, nobody knows, and that's why why religion is so, such a big thing in society, is because nobody knows. But if we had if we had an actual answer on what occurs, like an actual concrete fucking answer, then number one, those religions would lose all power, right? Unless they were true, unless we figured out that there was a
So
heaven and all that crap, But if there's not,
uh,
then who's going to believe in Jesus after that? You know what I
I
mean?
yeah, but like let's be like I'm gonna be honest with
Yeah,
you.
let's
Even
be
if we
honest.
did find out, there will be a lot of people who would deny.
I know. Yeah, no, of course there will be. Of course there
I
will be.
don't
Of course there
like
will be.
there like
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
But
It's
that's
like
one of those things that, like, if you did not, it's like with the
I
fucking, it's like with
I
the politics shit. You know what I mean? Like, you could deny science and all those things all you want. Unfortunately, it's real. Like, you know what I mean?
well, yeah, two plus
Unfortunately,
two will always equal four
yeah,
in the battlefield. Like
yeah.
that
Sorry.
doesn't
Like,
matter.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like the my But like, there have been people that fucking caught COVID and died,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
denying COVID
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to their last breath
That's
and
right. Yeah,
died.
yeah,
And it's
yeah, yeah.
like that showed me how much like
Human
people,
beings. Yeah.
yeah, human beings have this amazing capacity to deny
Yeah,
reality
that's
to
right.
to the point where it's like, I don't know. I
And
like,
and
even
well, and
if
the funny thing about that is that us being, not, agnostic, atheist, whatever, not,
Mhm.
denying God essentially. The funny thing about what you're saying though is that like we're denying that. And what if that's the truth? What if we die and we figure out that there actually was a God and all this other crap? It's like,
Yeah.
are we not the same as those people that denied COVID? Like, it's like we're kind of like
Well,
similar in a way. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's like,
but
it's crazy to think about. You know what I mean? Like,
it's funny because like my professor was talking about, it's like, okay, well, let's say that, right?
hmm
Let's say everything was true,
yeah,
right?
yeah, everything.
Well, then, but 2 plus 2 still equals
Yeah,
4.
that's right. It's still that.
Mathematics still is mathin'.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's just now that we have a God, but like all
Yeah,
science is still like correct. It's like
it's still real.
it
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
doesn't change
yeah,
much of anything other
yeah,
than like
yeah,
maybe like from a like a philosophical point of view, maybe.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
But like even like the old school philosophers were like like all people from the church, and they were like, "Nah, we
Yeah,
gotta."
that's a yeah.
And scientists, they were like, "We got to figure out how God is
Yeah.
in math."
Well, that
And then
was so that was I read what was it?
they're
There were
trying to
these
prove
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
God is in the math.
Well, there were these books that were like the it was like the complete outline of philosophy or the complete history of philosophy. I forget what it was, but I read most of them. And there came a point after the Romans and the Greeks and everything where like Jesus happened. And then after Jesus for like 1,000 years after that, everybody was like it was all about that, like proving Jesus, proving God, proving all those things. That was what philosophy was for like 1,000 years.
Hmm.
All the medieval shit and everything was all about Jesus and everything. And I had like an epiphany while I was reading that where I was like, what if that, like, again, like, what if all of that was bullshit? What if Jesus wasn't actually there? What if all these things didn't
Yeah.
actually happen? So it's like they took the one guy said it, or a couple people said it, or whatever, or a cabal, whatever the fuck, came up with the thing, and that reverberated throughout all of philosophy for 1,000 years. Like it's like
Well,
that's scary, you know what I mean? Like,
in many ways, they're kind of like the flat earthers
no,
of
exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah.
like our scientific
Mm-hmm.
institutions. We're kind of like the original
Yeah,
flat earthers in the sense
yeah,
of like these flat earthers, but like are trying to prove that the earth is flat. And
yeah,
every scientific thing that they do, like every
yeah,
scientific experiment that they do,
yeah.
like they prove that the earth is round.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
They
That's so.
go
Yeah,
into
yeah,
it, except
yeah,
that at least the philosophers and scientists were like, okay, maybe I'm the wrong here.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
in the
yeah.
wrong. Yeah.
Well, and that's what. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened with philosophy. Is that eventually it like AI, it ate itself, and all this,
Yeah.
and then it was like, well, God is dead. You know what I mean? And it became that
Yeah.
whole thing. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah,
so how do you make meaning out of it? Who gives a shit?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
well, like that's the thing about like existentialism or maybe absurdism.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like where you have Nietzsche where like nothing matters, and then
Yeah, that's right.
existentialism absurdism. It's like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah. Nothing
go.
matters. He. Yeah,
Hee
yeah.
hee
I
hee.
can do
Yeah.
whatever I want. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Optimistic nihilism.
Yeah.
Okay.
But did you know, have you read about what happened to Nietzsche at the end of his life? Like with the whole,
I know that his sister tried to. Oh, and then Oh, sorry.
no, go
I'll
ahead.
talk about that
Yeah,
later.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
No, his sister tried to like reform all of his works so that it worked for like the Third Reich.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I never
Yeah,
knew
so
any of
like
that.
why like the Ubermensch is like talked about
It's
in
because of
like,
that.
yeah, because
Yeah,
his
wow.
sister was like a super huge like Nazi.
Nazi. Well,
Yeah, and Frederick and Nietzsche was like not into that,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
like because obviously it's like no, you got to make meaning for yourself and shit like that. That
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. No, I was
Um,
gonna say like
he also was like
yeah.
oh no, I was also gonna say like he was like also super really into Wagner.
Oh,
and
the
like was
yeah, yeah,
super
yeah,
best
yeah,
friends, and then they were
yeah,
like, oh my god, like we could be besties.
yeah,
And then Wagner was like a super anti-Semite
yeah. He
and like
fucking hated
wanted
Jews. Yeah,
this to be like,
yeah.
this is for the German people. And
That's right.
Frederick's like, dude, you're such a fucking poser. I thought this
Yeah,
was for
yeah,
you. I thought
yeah,
this, like, that's why I liked it, because I thought this was like about you and your ego and shit like that. But now that I notice that it's like for this shit, like, fuck off,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah. No, that's funny.
Yeah.
No, I heard about this story that I used to get told, because I never really read about it, but it was that
Mhm.
Nietzsche was walking down the street and he saw this cart, uh, one of the guys that drove the carts with the horses. The horse had fallen down because it was so hot or whatever, and the guy was whipping the horse as it was on the ground. And then Nietzsche got pissed off and he ran and he got between himself or between the cart guy and the horse, and he was whipped a few times by the cart guy. And he
Yeah.
was like, he was crying and everything, and he was like, all things have value. But this is like near the end of his life. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And it's kind of like that thing where like Christopher Hitchens, like one of the biggest atheists of all time, where they
Mhm.
all say that when he was on his deathbed, he like, renounced all that and accepted Christ into his heart and all this shit. It's like, yeah, but it's like you're getting that, history is told by the victors. So it's like
Of
whoever was
course.
in the room with him is going to be
What
like, yeah, of course.
I love,
He's going to
and
heaven,
and yeah, because I get asked like about like why am I atheist, and I was like, well,
hmm
like the flat answer is just like I don't really need a higher power
To be good.
to be, well,
Yeah.
not just to be
Or
good,
to,
but just
and
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
need it in my life. I don't see like the need of that.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think what was really awesome was like watching like not just the original Cosmos, but
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
Neil
Carl
deGrasse
Sagan. Yeah,
Tyson.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and talking about how like Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about how like we're all the ancestors of stars. We're
Yeah,
the direct
we're all just
descendants.
there are pieces of it in us. Yeah, yeah.
Everything,
hmm
every piece of clothing,
Yeah.
the animals and everything,
hmm
we all come directly from space and
Yeah.
the things that make up the universe.
Yeah.
And he said, if that isn't spiritual, I don't know what is. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that is very
It's true. No,
spiritual.
it's true.
And it
Yeah.
makes you much more like, I think, well, at least it made me much more empathetic to the world and much
hmm
more empathetic to the here and now,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? Because if this is all there is,
Mhm.
then it's really sad and distressing that there is like people in the world that will only know suffering,
Yeah.
and that sucks,
hmm
and it makes you much more like wanting to make the like it I think, well, for me at least, it like makes me want to make the world a better place, because there isn't anything but this, so why don't we make this place the best we can, you know if
Exactly.
we're all if we're all descendant of stars, then what does it fucking matter whether you're on this side of the border or on this side of the border? Like we're all the same, like, and it gets a little hippie, but like it's I mean but it's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
objectively true. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the stars and the material created the earth, and we all come from the earth,
Yeah.
unless you believe in like that kind of like alien like
The
life.
Raelian thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or
Or the
like that life hitched a ride on an asteroid, and that
yeah, yeah,
asteroid
yeah,
hit,
yeah, and
and
killed the
somehow
dinosaurs, and it was us. Yeah,
yeah,
we're the ones that did it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. But
That's no, that's good,
but
man. And that's actually a great way to end this episode. I feel like what you
Oh,
just said,
nice.
because yeah, no, because that was deep, and I can't say anything better than that about the stars and all those things. And I feel like we touched on the theory a little bit,
A
right?
little bit.
Yeah, it
A
wasn't a
little bit
lot,
here
but
and there.
enough to where is the thing. But
You got to
um,
make your own meaning. That's the point.
exactly, you got to make your own meaning. Is there anything that you're doing currently that everybody in the audience should know about?
Yeah. So I
Uh,
play in a band called Sweet Myths. We play everywhere in San Diego, California, or sometimes outside of San Diego, California. So you should check out all of my socials there on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. at Sweet Myths. And then also, like, we also have original music out. I'm also a freelance composer that is working or has worked on an upcoming film called Morte. So I'll probably plug that, as well as Matthew Rocco.
Matthew Roca. No, it's an amazing movie. I'm in it, and you're in it
Yeah,
too. You're in it too.
I
Yeah,
am
yeah,
in
yeah.
it.
You're in it too. Yeah, we're co-stars. Um, but no, your music's awesome in that movie too, and you got it. It was actually done live and everything, which I'm
Yeah, so
is super cool.
some of the music is done live. I recorded it onto cassette because he filmed it on film,
On film.
so it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
made sense to
yeah,
do it
yeah,
that way.
yeah.
And then yeah, so for 2026, my band is currently working on an album, so we'll be releasing our second album soon.
Sick.
And then there's other stuff I can't really talk about
Yeah.
just yet, but it's gonna
Where are
be
you
like
recording that album? Are you doing
in
it?
my literally in my practice space.
Oh, you do it really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, no, no. I
Uh
didn't know whether or not there was like a studio in San Diego where you go or anything like that.
no, we luckily, with with now, with technology, as much as I was like being very a Luddite about
Yeah,
technology
yeah.
itself,
Yeah, it's good to
technology
yeah, yeah.
recording
Yeah.
technology has come a long
It's
way
great.
where I can,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
where I can literally record in like a closet and
Yeah.
and
It
like
sounds
with
pretty
good
good.
editing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you
Yeah.
have, I mean, that's really it.
Yeah,
And then
that's how I was able to do it because I have like 170 something tracks on Apple Music and everything now. And
mhm.
I did it all in this room or in my other
Yeah.
bedrooms, you know. I mean, it's like yeah,
Oh
it's
my
all
god,
good.
like I love amp sims and stuff like
Oh
that. It
yeah.
makes,
Yeah.
yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do that. Freelance composer as well. So if you need music for your thing, whether it be a podcast, whether it be a movie, or whether it be for a wedding anniversary, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
hit me up. Yeah, I'm sure that there will be a place to find my socials. But yeah,
Yeah.
at Sweet Myths is usually the Sweet Myths literally everywhere.
Awesome.
Wherever you get your music, or we're definitely on it.
Yeah, I highly recommend Diego for soundtracks and things because and composing because again I've heard it in our movie that we're in together and it's pretty bitchin' and pretty like I mean it again I heard it on like movie like in the surround sound and it sounded really awesome. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your band and I'm excited for the future. And I'll probably have you on here again because I think that our conversation was pretty good.
I'm
So
glad. Yeah,
yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
theories, different theories
Yeah,
out
I've got
there.
5,000 of them, like I said in this book here, the Dictionary of Theories,
So
which
only
is
5,000 episodes.
that's it. After that, no, I mean we could restart
Four
them, and it's not a
thousand
big.
nine hundred and 98
That's
episodes to
right. Yeah,
go.
that's right. Yeah, that's it. And you're number two, so there you go.
Hey, let's go,
Let's go. Let's
baby.
go. All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you too. Bye.
All right, bye.